Hi, good morning, Kafui. Thank you very much for joining us. We're somewhere around Amasama, a suburb called Dar Salam, and this is not far from the Amasaman township. In line with what you're discussing currently, we have actually moved to meet the mother of the child in question, and she's over to speak to us. So we're going to go straight to speak to her. Her name is Madame Evelyn Keme. We'll be speaking in the Tree dialect. As usual, when we're done, I'll do my best to bring us some kind of interpretation to what she's told us. And yes, and then we wrap up. I must say that I have seen the child in question as well, and I can confirm she's in good health. She's interacting very well, and she's all right. She's very cheerful. The mother is around, the grandmother is around, and the uncle is also around. So she's in good company. Let me go quickly and welcome Madame Evelyn Keme onto this discussion. Madame, good morning.
Good morning.
Me pacho apomoti say.
Boko na monswe.
Erade adom ye boko. Me pacho edika ma me musa se masa na wo.
Pacho 3.
Enka bo ebeka ye nsa no kire se wura no owo ema dumienu. Ni nyina na ye wo ma.
Pacho aye me ba papa. Oh, madum me bisa no so madum
enti Emma 12 no omusen e na one ne wo
pacho ba ko one nana sika no
mame hwe bibi kakra me pacho ankasa eden na wo ye eden adwuma ana se eden ni nia wo ye
pacho me small job
me pacho papa one no ewo ye no emfie sei ni
on the September 12 September na kula nenya 12 years.
I must apologize to viewers that Madame Keme has lost her voice a bit, and so you'd have to bear with us. She's lost her voice. She's really struggling to get her voice up, and so please bear with us. I'll do my best also to take the microphone so close, just so that we can at least try and get it out of her. Okay, my main share, I want to know about September 12, not when you're 12 years. Me pacho, papa, one in a te and I saw tiny baby.
Pacho, me met me baby, no sutini baby.
Ye nyatene say what the abrochiri baby. Wouldn't my baby put no.
Me Monday. Me mbisano na enso news Poland.
Ma okay. So any empendo do saying and a wohunu afie bia mu.
Okay. Me ban in 5 years no. And now obai 3 years later no buy oba no ko osamba 1 year later enche no ko oba 3 days time maybe sana se na ese oko no wasamba no ko nti oba ko but this year no last year no be stay
yeah na so oba Only no ne abofra no montem to say my yonko fa say eja ne oba enane oba entem ya na te say
ba ne papa ne de oba ye no best stay ye no menene ni ye fine ona de ne ba ko ni school mu ko tua ni school fees nti school teachers for ni nyina nim no last year on the 12th odi ni birthday crampo no ono no ko di birthday ni man wo school mu nti teacher phone ni nim no bi student ni so ebi enum no nti akwat say popular nti na omukura mo so mo bisa akola ni say da bena baba be san be di birthday amana na isan say ono na why famous wo mo school mu ono na we di birthday kese wo mo school mu nti na mo say bisa no ansa na incident we is
Papa no unim no say ne nipa ban te say ne suban ne niye o te say
oh me who say o bi o ye gidigidi ana say o kan wan kan the problem bi antenem say e bia bibisa sometimes no e wo mu say call die bi obi be frɛ wo be hu na nso later obe ka say bia obe frɛ na o refi me ta frɛ no onu so wo mu ana ofrɛ ba na say no on frɛ na me frɛ no so wakonya accident ba o wokumasi sometimes so me frɛ o so wonya accident to call hospital nti as wanya accident say 3 times or buy no as wanya accident 3 times na nso me ni ntina ase ni ndi nkomo e ono ani say me frɛ a ho ti say o se ne ho ye asa no pe
Mame hwɛ emfoni kakra dano a asɛm ni siiye no na wo ba no owo wo nkyɛn ɛna ɔbɛfa no anaasɛ ye hene na na abofra no wo na kwan bɛn so ɛna ɔfa ya ne nsa kan abofra no.
Okay, last week Tuesday number 10 o'clock ɛna ɔfrɛ sɛ nadamfo bi wɔ abrochire ɔbɛkɔ nti ɔpɛsɛ onsusu akɔla no na ɔmpam atale ne mpɔbɔ bi ɛmfa embrɛ no nti ɔba bɛfa no Thursday 12 o'clock ɛwɔ school mu ɛna me nti ondi ya na me say ai odi ya no say ha ya oti say your friend say ya oho an okati phone nti mitina asesa na me dream na me say e dey na brei e patch na me kinka o ma dream say adenti na obeka say Thursday oba be fa no school 12 o'clock me na me ka kire me hu 12 o'clock on the ya na me so me Jesus say or the ya no answer ka say friend ya nti akola no so on die ye nyina ye ndai ono na di phone ni ma me na me pick call me call ni nche na me say ska say na o papa e kan o say ba be fa Thursday no ama wadan fofo bi esusu na danfo bi efi abrochi aba no we susu no apa matale ni mpobo ade ablo nto ba be fa Thursday na obisa me say odi ya na me say ai odi ya no ankasa sanka say ai eya oti say odi ya na me bisa say na ska obi kasa asem we ya wo odwen ho sen no akola nankasa ka say inde so de mi ko jiske duro ana ye nyina ye sere ye ha
me pasho akoda no ti se ubisa no o ka se ne papa buisa ne dini ene akoda no ankasa kan se ne papa de ne koji sikadura na
se ono de okan ni ye nyina joke o se ndi se o de mi koji sikaduro ye nyina ye kan se jokes keke se if say so amote nsem omonim nsem se o krada o ba be fa o krada ni nyama me de me ba na me ne omudi nkomo me nso me tu omfo nti me ka sa akire no se ono a obi so ba be fa o Thursday o so wo di ya na me so me ka se o di ya na o se o ya o ti se ye fra wo ya nti obi ka sa asem we kire wa wo ba dwen ho sen no se ne se o de mi ko gisike duro sa na kola ne kai me ntwa ntro ngu akola ne soso aye anadwo no
enti wa ka show hu nkomo oba so obefa akoda no onu udi nkomo bi ansa na odi akoda ne ma no ana se oshi akoda no kwem no ode no ko ye
there be so say oba be fa ne Thursday e wo school mu nti imini akola ne ka sa wie ye no na Wednesday me call market nti me call me shop hono mo no na mpanyufo bi wo hono mo na me di tu o manim se madam fu bi say ne ba papa ba be fa ne Thursday okopa matale ama no nti ba be fa ne wo school mu 12 o'clock nti sa 12 o'clock no aya Thursday no sa akola ne di ya na me so ni ma me no so ska se o ka se akola ne di ya na ne papa ne ka se ɛyɛ ɔte sɛ yɛfrɛ no ya nti ɔmo no ɔmo ti aseɛ sɛn advice bɛn na memfa ma nipa no ɛna ɔmo ka kyerɛ me sɛ menkɔ ka kyerɛ madamfo ne sɛ Thursday no ɛma akwadaa ne nkɔ school na ɔntena ne nkyɛn wɔ fie anaasɛ ɔnkɔ school nim na ɔnka nkyerɛ tikyafoɔ ne sɛ ɔpapa bɛfa akwadaa no a ɛma ne mfa no ɛna ekyire no meka kyerɛ ɔmo sɛ ɛnyɛ madamfo biara na ɛmi amankasa me ba sika na ne papa ba abɛfa no ɛna ɔmo kora mo yɛ me sɛ megye mi paa me ankasa na adeɛ ne ɛyɛ me na mebisa na me sɛ o meyɛ suggestion ahwɛ nti ɛhɔ no mo no ɛna ɔmo ka kyerɛ me sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a mema akwadaa no ɔnkɔ school na ɔmbɛ tena me nkyɛn wɔ store.
If you're watching GTV Breakfast this morning, we're speaking to the mother of the child who was allegedly taken out of school by her father to be sent for money rituals. Madam Evelyn Keme is the one we're speaking to. Stay with us as we go further to find out a few more from her. She's so far giving us a little background, the man, his character, his nature, where he has been, where he was, and also the circumstances leading to how he got hold of the child, and also certain questions preceding how he got hold of the child. In fact, the child herself, from what the mother has just told us, became a bit suspicious about questions the father had asked the mother about her day of birth, her name, and other things surrounding her. And having discussed that with her friends, they told her they're suspicious, and so she should not allow the child to go to the father. Let's go back and speak some more with Madam Keme. Ma menhwe inti na oma sika eko school. Na oko school no dai ni siye.
Oko school no papa na ambefa no. Nti ni numere 3 something hono no na ofre ye say wa ba na me so da bi on mai na obi sam say time be na omopon na me so ompon 3:30 na nso no on mai nti na ka jan say the Friday anopa oba be fa no e de na akọ na me see you nti akola ne ba na me ka che ne say ko papa say Friday oba be fa o akọ na ade chin Tadichi na expect say obe friend them. Why I bought akola na siesie no oba be ko school nti I bought say 640. Na papa ne frɛ say oba be fa na me say akola na nkasa oni papa ne nkasa. Nti odi papa ne nkasa na ka che papa ne say ebi omo o say odi ne be ko no Friday no eya ye mom homeworks bebre nti okwa ontumi enye homework no ena oka chen so omo kwa sansa omo chi abasese ya ahwana papa ne kati phone ehu anche ena papa ne san frɛ say ni sister the Elizabeth mema ne emfa ne be hia no amasama nti na omo esiesie omo ho awie nti ena mema Elizabeth ni ko hia wa amasama but before mbe free fie no nyame ni mi ntwantro me ka cha akola ne se o kwa o papa to nsuo ma won okwan so a menum o ma waduane a mendi afa nsu no udru baby a obepam atale amawa o mo ka se yi watale a menyi me sa akola ne se sika me de wo koda se me ne wo kwa akopam atale a ye yi watare ana o se da bi I'm say mo konso a hwe no anda o ka anim ona si yo nti em kan say so mudru na say o mo si chinchina yi wa tale a kikem na ka say me papa de mi koji skedro me papa de mi koji skedro me de me ka chile no me ntwa ontro me ka chile no me say woni ni ka ju ti me ka chile
me pacho anye bia papa no boso ma o te say owo or how or sikasem or how
pacho wan kanchilem
omakodru ho no wante hwe biem ebreben ena nkra beka wonsa se ne asini
Nti ɔde ne kɔ ɛmɛhyɛ time sɛ ne papa ne bɛfrɛ nanso ne papa no wamfrɛ nti wamfrɛ saa no ne abɔ te sɛ 11:40 ɛna me receive call ɔno kora na mekɔtɔ adeɛ nti me wɛka no na de phone di m'akyi ɛna me sɛ na manka nkyɛw sɛ me deɛ me phone obi frɛ a momfa anaa ɔno ɔse mafa phone no na ma receive call na enipa no hyɛ wɔ me so sɛ memfa phone ni manira memfa phone ni manira nti enipa no kura gyina phone ni so na me sɛ ɔmfa ama me nti ɛhɔ no mu na me gye phone na me sɛ hello na enipa no bisa me sɛ me ba no wɔ he nti ɔka sɛ me ba no wɔ he na me sɛ ne teacher ni ana efisɛ ɔno ɔkɔ school na sɛ wambɛ school a teacher ni ne frɛ ebisa sɛ de nti na wambɛ school ana nti ɔno sɛ enye ne teacher ni na ɔyɛ police ni na oba ne na ne de ɔde ne number ama me nti oba no wɔ police station ɔne ne papa sese a na oba no papa de ne kɔgye skeduro saa na police ne ɔsɛ ɔyɛ police ni ne kae nti ɔmo wɔ oyibi ɛna me sɛ no oyibi no kura ɛwɔ he fa me nim oyibi o ɛna ɔsɛ ɛwɔ adenta nti me mbra sese a nti ɛhɔ ana me di mika me furu ka kosi wa amasama na me hyia obi na me ka kyɛn sɛ obetimi a ne ka ne yɛ correct ana obi mo ka ne yɛ correct nti ne ka ne yɛ correct ana ɔno sɛ ai obetimi di me akɔ adɛnta ana ɔno sɛ ai nti ɛhɔ no mu no na ɔde me kɔ na me ne yɛ suggestion wɔ ka nim sɛ say na police ni na frame moreover no nipa no so yɛ ayigbani ana ɔka sɛ o hyia ne nua ba na asɛm ato ne deɛ wɔ sɛ ɔde me kɔ nti na ɔde me kɔɔ saa na ɛkɔduru adenta police station.
Right. So once again, thank you very much for joining us. We're coming to you live from Dar es Salaam, somewhere near Amasama. We're speaking with Madame Evelyn Keme, the mother of the child who was allegedly going to be used for money rituals somewhere last week. We saw the videos on social media and how the circumstances in which the father was handcuffed and taken away. I asked her about the circumstances of the father, whether or not the father had ever mentioned whether he has any financial problems. And she said, as far as she's concerned, no, the man has never mentioned any such issues with her. Also, whether or not the relationship between father and child. And she explained the father has been really very nice with the child, even though they don't live together. On the child's birthday last year, which was the 12th of September, it was the father who threw a big party in her school. And so every now and then her friends will ask when the next birthday will be and when daddy will show up. I asked her also about the circumstances leading to how the child got to the father, and she explained that the father had called previously to ask about the child's name, the day she was born, and when she discussed that with the child, the first thing the child could say was, given what questions my dad is asking about my name and my day of birth, could it not be that he wanted to use me for money rituals? And they both laughed over it. And then when she went to work the next day, she discussed the same thing with some of the women who trade with her, where she does her chop bar. Chop bar is a mini eatery in our local parlance. We call it chop bar. It could be a restaurant anyway. And so after she had done the discussion, friends who work with her told her that given that the man had called, he is coming for the child on that day, please don't give the child away to him. And if it is possible, don't let the child go to school. Keep the child at home and don't allow the child to go. Indeed, she didn't pay so much attention to it. She allowed the child to go. But before the child went to school, she warned the child and said, if your father comes for you, on the way, he buys you water, don't drink. If he buys you food, don't drink. If he buys you food, don't eat. And even in the car, do not sleep. Indeed, the father came home, sent someone to come for the child at home on the Friday morning. And so not even from the school, he got hold of the child from home. So the mother released the child to a sister of the father who somewhere halfway from Dar es Salaam to Amasama handed the child over to the father. And she also warned the child that if you get to where you're going, your father says he wants to sew you a dress, and so you're going to be measured by the seamstress. When you get there and they ask you to take off your dress, say no, because anytime I have taken you to a seamstress to sew you a dress, we don't take off your clothes. So don't take off your clothes. And if they insist you do, scream and shout, my father wants to use me for money rituals. How all this came to play even before the actual event occurred, for me, beats my imagination. But yes, that is the circumstances leading to how the child got to the father. And so all that happened, fast forward, she was there, the child had gone, and in the somewhere around midday, she got a call, and then her phone was brought to her. On the phone was a police officer who was screaming at her, where is your child? And then when she had mentioned where the child was at the time, she was invited to come to the police station at Oyibi, and she even said she doesn't even know there. And so she went, looked for her, and met a man who's an Ewe man who offered to drive her to the Oyibi police station where she was reunited with her child. Let me go back to her finally and take this from her. Madam, medase se oni edi nkomo ukodru police station ho anasa omo de uko fie ho a baby ana abofra no aye hu wo video no mu no
me kodru police station ho Oyibi police station na me kodru ye na mo se akola na ada nti omo wankasa na omo twen saa na akola ne sorry o sole ye na police woman ba akode ne bai obe ohumia na obe ha game no ye matu na omo nyina omo kasa ampa ye ne ba nti hono mo no na omo ye ko tro ye numu nsem na akola no so omo ne tro ne numu nsem nti akola ne numu nsem na ono tro ye na memeti ye na akola ne tro ye na sese na memeti ye na akola ne se omo kono dru baby na okacho papa se obanum nsuo na papa to nsuo ni ma no na me nti oto nsuo ni ma no nti omo sai kọ kakra no na so obedidi omo kọ kakra na papa kọtọ efiewura e de bae oto efiewura na de bae no omo sai kọ kakra na
efiewura na ye bag ya ye di nyoma gumu efiewura so ame
papa kọtọ ye omo kọtọ na omo kọ kakra na papa say ombe didi amunko didi na omuko didi ya na mbisa so ni hwan ne ko didi na omo say na police ni bisa ne say oni hwan ne ko didi na say oni driver ni na ko didi ya na omo san bet na ken nti omo ko kakra na papa ka che driver ni say onsi no ontwen driver ni nsi no ontwen na omo ba nti driver ni si ye no na ono ni papa no omo koye nti omo koye no dru bebe na papa park car no na omusiye na papa de safua no ma me bi ho na ma me no ton provisions e wo ho no na de papa safua ne ma ne se oba nti oka so oba na mo so mo nanti kakra anchepe no mo wura efie kese bi mu gate da no nti gate da no na omo ko tena ase oni ni papa nyina tena ase nti omo tena ase na obi baaye abefa papa de koye nti papa koye anche no papa ne san baaye obaaye pena omo ka kire ono akola ne se onko tena edan bi wo ho no mu nti ono ko tena okọ dan ni mu okọ tena dan ni ohun stool wo ho no mu ahemfo stool wo ho no mu na golden knife wo ho no mu nti ma me ne bisan se ohun ahemfo stool ni golden knife no we nsura na o si da bi ho ye palace
Mami hwe wankasa ebra okupie police station ho a unya hunu se nia anka ekusie nu na afi utwa ubu nkompo kohwe enkomo a oni oba no abo ne ensem a monkeka ye na ekoba ne sa no na etewsen wankasa na etewsen
okay mi bo shake nenso anya mi beble e se mi ka chen se omukwa edru honum na se bibisa na onja ne no nkike mu se papa de me koye skedro ntino me fi se bia onu na okọ ohie obi na okache na nipa niko police station ntina bia police for ne frame no omo ka se akola na di mi number o se akola na di mi number ne ma omo se on frame me Inti minim say bi akola na akɔka police for ne say ebi ni papa de ni kɔgye skedro efisa nse se na yaka no wɔ fie ni ntino ma frɛ papa line no me ntwa ntro ma frɛ nti ma adwene se me kɔ police station wona say ampa say oka asɛm na yɛ kan nti na ɔka sa akyɛ police for na den na ɔno onimo papa number nti me duru hɔ ankrɔfo ne be bisa me o papa number ɔhɔnom na me de ama no ebi nso na papa no akɔla na adwane afiri ne nkyɛn ana ebi ɔhwehwɛ no nti na me man frɛ o papa line no sa na me yɛ ma adwene nti na man frɛ papa line no.
Finally efiri sɛ odi akwala no ba afie no akwala no ne niyɛ ni suban ɛdɛn ɛna u feel say asesa anase ɛdɛn ni nia ni si yie no ɛde abrɛ akwada no.
Oh say ɛyɛ deɛ me mba ne deɛ me mfa bibia nsi ɔmo efi sɛ me ana me tete ɔmo nti bibia ɔmo so ɔmo hwɛ TV phone ɔmo so nti me nyɛ ɔmo han nti bibia besi bia no ye nyina ye di hu ye discuss nti ɔmo no o fi sɛ bia papa ni ɔmo hu nti no me ye bibia me ma obi ehu say me ni adaje me djuma ye me djuma nti me ma ɔmo hu me bibia nti wono ombo shake kra
nti se uja na kwan se onku school a na nije obaye na nije me ba ma be hu se odi agro wa ba me nkyɛn ni den na asesa won ne suban mu den na asesa wona se ne osifa ya na de
se na ye te dada no sa bibia nsesa won ho ye ba ntina police for say e bia on be ku ne school nia ebe ya ne pen say ye kwa sorry Sunday no akola bi na ye no say una ye do u papa do kwa kɔgye skedro u ye na do kwa kɔgye skedro akola bi na edi dinu akola ba ko ba o kyerɛ me akola no
da se pa se oni yen edi enkomo ma be hu se grandma ewa ha o uncle so ewa ha abusuafo wa brochire nso afro bebre brono a wote so no sen ena omo nso omofa asemu esi yi
bebre aba na oma aba share and cry oma aba share and cry.
Medase, thank you very much once again for joining us. I've been speaking with Madame Evelyn Keme, the mother of the child who was allegedly going to be used for money rituals by her father. I've asked her a few questions, and in the last few minutes, I asked what the relationship with the child father had been, and as far as she's concerned, everything has been okay. And I asked when the child had left and they had gone and the call came to her that this is what had happened, how did she feel? And she said, well, given that they've discussed it, she felt perhaps the child had run away and had gone to the police to allege that in fact, that is what the father had wanted to use her for. And so for her, leaving home and getting to the police station, she didn't even call the husband's or the father's number because her plan was to get to the police station, get hold of the child, and if it is exactly as they had discussed before the child left, then she would explain to the police that had been the plan. And so then from there, she will call the man, but then arriving there, she realized that's exactly what it had been. And then the child was made to write her statement. So what she gleaned from the child's statement was how she got to the house, and when she got there, what was there. This has been the special sit down with the mother of the child who was allegedly going to be used for money rituals by her father. Her name is Evelyn Keme. As always, my name is Darrell Alan Tego. This has been #GTV Breakfast. Thank you very much. Take it over, Kafui.
And thank you very much for the interview, very extensive. We have two questions that we want to ask you from my guest. Bright, what's the question you wanted Alan to ask Evelyn?
Yes, my question is that I find out from the woman, when they handed the child to her, what was the processes like?
Okay.
By the police.
Okay, and then Christine?
He said that the woman said that they live separately. So I wanted to know about the access that the man has to the child, how often the man would go and see her.
Okay. So, Alan, 2 questions. Access, how often does the man get to see his daughter? And what were the processes like when the police stepped in? If you can briefly ask Madam Keme. Okay, so we're going to establish that link with Alan and get back to him to answer those 2 questions. This is GTV Breakfast. My guests in studio are Bright Appiah, Executive Director, Child Rights International, and Christine Ofosu Ampedu. She's a lawyer and a law lecturer. We're looking at the psychological, the sociological issues and legal issues around this gentleman who was alleged to have handed over his child to a herbalist for money rituals. The tables turned, apparently, that's what it looks like, and the herbalist actually reports him to the police. So there are lots of questions that need to be answered as far as this particular case is concerned. And Alan was speaking with the mother of the young girl in question. So with her identity even being exposed, what rights have been violated as far as the girl is concerned?
I mean, naturally, even if the girl was accused of a crime, you wouldn't have to reveal her identity. So, of course, being a victim, you would expect that there's no way that her picture should have been on the media. I think that generally it's something that is not allowed.
And the herbalist is the one who published this stuff on social media?
Yes.
So he has some questions to answer?
Yes, definitely. It brings us back to this issue of people being in the public court of opinion, where in this social media age, a lot of information just goes onto the net, and if people tend not to discuss the legal issues, then it's all about public opinion and what people think that they should be responsible for.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Alan says on the surface, the young girl looks all right, but could stuff be happening underground?
Oh yes, a lot of
underneath?
things. I think that they are just seeing the physical aspect of the child, and they think that it is okay, so they can draw that conclusion. It's not their fault. And I think that if you get a psychologist to go into it, we'll be able to diagnose the real issue that are affecting the child, and how we can approach it. So we are interested, and we want to find the family, get their contact, and then do some follow-up.
You'd like to probably connect with the lady, the mother.
Exactly.
All right. We'll make sure that happens. Let me go back to Alan, who is in Dar es Salaam. It's not in Tanzania, but it's right here in Ghana. And he's looking at the mother of the child who is at the center of this alleged case of money rituals, kidnapping and probably killing for money rituals. Alan, so 2 questions from my panel here. They want to know what were the processes that the police used when the arrest was made. And Christine also wants to know what's the level of access the man had to his daughter. Those 2 questions we need from Madam Keme answered.
All right, okay. I'll go back to her quickly and then get you answers for that. Me pacho, asebusa me mpeni for person unu ene se efa abufra no ne papa entem no. Abufra no papa utumi eba ne nchen ebere bia ope ohia no se one ne di nkoma na so ohia no se oba ne nchen a eyade a bibia ensi ne ho kwan ana.
Se na asem na akosi no.
Before.
Oba ne nchen obefa no.
How often?
Ono aba no abefa no ko. No asande na aba. Tida ono so ba na so officer obetena akola nchen no ofie saa se weekends ya to meet na nchen saa to me ba no pa no atena ye nchen saa ewia na afede okọ.
So, Kafuite, that question, the man has unrestricted access to his child. There's been times when the child to spend weekends or even vacation with the father, and when the father has time, he also comes around to spend weekends with them. And then the second question, which is what are the processes the police are putting in place with regards to the child and how she may return to school.
Alan, the question is what happened when the police were handed over? How did the police handle the handover?
Please come back.
We want to know, Bright, what's the question?
The question is the process of handing over the child to her as a mother. What processes went on?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you very much. Nepesi who be say, asem ni si yachi no, kwan ben so ena police for no fire omoda na abufa na hye wonsa
woman counselor bi ba counselor ena obisa yese akola no anka ompese ontina omo counselor ni nchen ena akola nse de bi na obekọ ne maame o nti ena ombisa me se akola no obetimi de mi akwa na me se ai ena me se problem bi eni wana me so akola ndo ni problem do ni problem anka na counselors for ni so ombetina omochen problem bi eni ena akola so obeba me nchen nti ena omo handle ne ma.
All right, so Kaf, to that question again, a counselor was assigned to them who took them through some kind of counseling. And after the counseling, they asked the child if she would remain with their counselor. But the child insisted no, she would go with her mother. And so they asked the mother if there are any problems or there may be any problems they should know before the child is handed over to her. And she explained there's no problem whatsoever. And so after their counseling, the child was handed over to her. But my information, just before I hand over back to you, my information this morning, upon the police's arrival here this morning, is that they are going to the child's school to find out what they could put in place to safeguard the child in particular, and so that she could return to school immediately.
All righty. Thank you so much, Daryl Alan Tego, our man at Dar es Salaam, with the mother of the lady, the young girl whose father was alleged